Hi everyone, Jim here for Mystery and Mayhem. I hope everyone's doing well today. I wanted to talk today about my Michael Shayne vintage paperbacks, and I wanted to go through a few of them with you. I won't go through all of them because I have well over 60 of them, and I don't want the video to go overly long. But Michael Shayne was a character created by Brett Halliday in 1939 in a novel called Dividend on Death. Now, there was over 70 Michael Shayne paperback novels and over 300 short stories. I do believe that Davis Dresser, as Brett Halliday, maybe wrote the first 25 to 30 Michael Shayne novels, and then he sold the character to Dell, and then different authors came in and wrote the novels under the Brett Halliday pseudonym. And there was also many movies, radio show comics. There was a mystery magazine that I think ran for about 30 years. I could be incorrect on that time frame, but the Mike Shayne Mystery Magazine, which was along the same lines as Ellery Queen Mystery Magazine and Alfred Hitchcock Mystery Magazine, that kind of thing. So what I wanted to do is, as I said, like you can see behind me here, that's most of my Mike Shayne paperbacks piled up there, and I have some here that I'm going to show you the covers of them. But I've got too many to go through. The series started in 1939, and the paperbacks, I've got paperbacks from the 40s. I mean, it ran the span of the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and I don't think you saw a lot of them him in the 80s, but there's been a few reprints lately of some of his earlier Mike Shayne novels, and I do believe that they're all available on Kindle books or as a digital book. So I'm going to get started on some of first of all, I want to show you the transition from the earlier paperbacks to what's current. Current as of 2010. This is a paperback of Murder Is My Business. And this paperback, Dell, with the matte back cover, this was printed in 1945. Now, the same novel reprinted, I do believe this one was 1962, with the new updated cover with a Robert McGinnis cover and the famous Mike Shayne logo up there, which was on many of the books. That one doesn't have the matte back cover anymore at this point. And here I have a current reprint from 2010, again with the Robert McGinnis cover. But I mean, he was doing these covers for a long time, and just the fact that he was doing them in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and the 70s, and then still doing covers, in the 2000s, I think that's pretty amazing. So that's a hard case crime book with the famous white spine there, and I think they only reprinted the one. There might have been more that of Brett Halliday's that they reprinted. I'm not too sure. I didn't really look into that. Yeah, I probably should have checked that before I started the video. But I mean, it's easy enough to Google if you're interested. Now, let's start going through these. I'll just go through these covers quickly. Like I said, I've got quite a few. Even though most of them are over there, I've still got a few over here to show you, and it might take a while. So this is Bodies Are Where You Find Them. This is an early one. These are from the 40s, maybe the 50s, early 50s. Counterfeit Wife. And it's got the famous Dell logo there on the bottom. Now this one's been reprinted many times, When Dorinda Dances. Actually, I have doubles and triples of a lot of these. And there's Michael Shayne himself on the cover. This next one is probably my favorite cover on any of these Mike Shayne novels. It just, this cover is just, the colors and the drawing itself, how it's painted here, and a drawing here, an outline drawing over here, and even down to the font. It's just a beautiful, beautiful cover. That's probably one of my favorites. Hard to pick a favorite because they're all so good, and Robert McGinnis is just brilliant. And that's Stranger in Town. This one is Target Mike Shayne. And these ones are all 50s and early 60s. Michael Shayne's Long Chance. Again, Robert McGinnis. Most of these are Robert McGinnis covers. A Taste for Violence. This is another just awesome cover, coloring wise and composition wise. Everything about that is just incredible, that cover. Now, as we get into the early 60s, they changed the whole font for the name Mike Shayne. You still see his face up there, but the font itself has changed, and he's kind of updated his style a little bit, so it's not quite so dated. And that's Mike Shayne's 50th case. Here's one with the updated font, Shoot the Works, Robert McGinnis. And none of these have map backs anymore. They just have the synopsis on the back. The Violent World of Mike Shayne. And I love how the color behind the font usually ties in with the color from Robert McGinnis's artwork, and they're just tied in so beautifully, and just so well done. And they, I wish they took care like this now with paperbacks. They kind of lost something over the years. Bodies Are Where You Find Them, Robert McGinnis. And this one is interesting. This is called Mike Shayne's Torrid 12. And Robert McGinnis cover, but this has a short story of Mike Shayne in it, but it's an anthology with other mysteries. And this is edited by Brett Halliday, and it's got writers like Hal Alson, Frank Kane, Robert Bloch did a story, Richard Deming, Henry Slesar, Jonathan Craig. So there's 12 mystery short stories, and they're of the hard-boiled persuasion, and that's just another favorite cover of mine, and just so well done. Now we get into the later 60s, 1960s, and all those paperbacks I just showed you, where the shorter size paperbacks, you can see the difference there. Now we're getting into the mid to late 60s, and these are regular size mass market paperbacks, and that's still Robert McGinnis, but he's kind of updated his style here a little bit more even, and it's a little bit more kind of groovy 1960s kind of style. This is Framed in Blood. And this is an awesome cover, So Lush, So Deadly. Now that the 60s are over, we get into the 70s, and very obviously so. That's when the photo cover came into practice. Now there's, a male model they used to represent Mike Shayne on these 1970s novels, And there's, they were very much in vogue, these photo covers back in the 70s, and that's when paperback artwork and cover art really started to kind of go downhill, when they started to rely on photographs as opposed to artwork. At the point of a 38. But they're cool covers nevertheless. I mean, I love the font, along the top and down the side. I mean, that's just very cool looking, very effective. but then they changed this style, and it's still photo covers, but they did this, which isn't as appealing to me as this style. But yeah, so that's kind of the 70s. I mentioned the Mike Shayne Mystery Magazine, earlier in the video. I've got 4 of them, and as I said, I think they ran for about 30 years. They ran it from the maybe the 60s to the 80s, because I've got one here, 84, 1980, So I'll have to check that when I'm done here. This one's a little beat up, but there was a Mike Shayne short story in each of these, and a lot of hard-boiled mystery stories by some fairly famous authors throughout these magazines. And yeah, there's the logo, which is kind of cool, but unfortunately the artwork inside isn't the greatest. There's a story in here by Ray Bradbury, The Smiling People. And this one is from 1979, and that's got a very 70s vibe to it, that one. And the new Mike Shayne short novel by Brett Halliday is called Murder Go Around. And here's a Mike Shayne short story called Killer's Eve, with that awesome Halloween cover. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty effective cover right there. And it's got a lot of stories and features by John L. Breen. Yeah, Ed Noon's Minute Mysteries by Michael Avallone. So that's interesting. Unfortunately, I only have 4 of these, and I wish I had more. This one's from 1984. A new Mike Shayne mystery called Shadows of the Past. And I think it was about this time that they stopped printing these things. It must have been about mid-80s maybe, and they weren't making these anymore, which is unfortunate. But yeah, that's about all I wanted to show you. I know I'd promised to go through them ages ago, and so I thought I'd get around to it and go through them for you. And yeah, maybe I'll go through the ones I didn't show you today another time, because all the covers are just lovely, and they're great books to have. It's taken me years to collect them. I mean, that's haunting used bookstores and flea markets and yard sales, and it's just that's pretty much almost a lifetime of collecting those Mike Shayne books, and they're hard to find now. You used to be able to go to a flea market, a book stall or a used bookstore, and you'd find 1 or 2, but they're difficult to find now. And when you do, they're marked up pretty expensive. And collectors snag them up. Like, I'm a collector, so I'm one to talk. But yeah, they're tough to find. So I hope you enjoyed that. I thought I'd get a real quick video out and do those up for you. So I'll talk to you guys later. You take care. Keep reading.